Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. Thank you for your patience in hearing from me. I have not been super active in this chat for a minute as I've been kind of personally experiencing the transits and going through my own journey over this last week. I am just wrapping up a 3-day juice cleanse, which if you've heard that juice cleanse is, it's a challenging experience, but it's also one that can be very revitalizing and a great opportunity to, physically clear out a lot of old shit and usher in a new beginning. It also is something that requires a tremendous amount of discipline and self-control. And that really is the theme that we've been working with this last week. So we're on day 6 of a 6-day transit. Each of these Sun-Earth transits moves through 6 days of a cycle. So for the last 6 days, we've had the Sun in the gate 21, which in the higher expression is all about self-regulation and kind of management of one's resources and also kind of one's environment, both inner and outer. So it's really about kind of regulating our nervous system by getting our affairs in order, so to speak. So I've definitely been experiencing that. The Earth has been in the gate 48, which is the gate of depth. It's a splenic gate, and so it does carry, as all splenic gates do, a fear, right? It's the fear of inadequacy. Also, on the other side of that fear is a heightened awareness of what it takes to self-actualize our gifts, our talents, our skills. So the theme really this last week has been about discipline, self-regulation, cultivation of talents, skills, and really putting in the work necessary to bring our inner and outer environments into alignment. So perhaps that theme has been showing up for you in terms of the distribution of your content, if you're a content creator. For me, it's shown up a lot around the theme of money, kind of organization, budgeting, and better management of money. On a global level, it also is, really about control, or even on a personal level. It's a tribal gate, and so it can find us sometimes reaching for a sense of control over ourselves, over our environment, over our relationships, and certainly in the shadow, it can kind of be a gate that tries to control others a lot in order to bring ourselves into a place of peacefulness. So hopefully this has been an energy that you've been able to leverage in the direction of kind of greater self-regulation, really controlling what it is we can control, which is ourself, our breath, our body, our environments, and a great opportunity to really refresh our practices around all of that. And it could be as simple as, buying yourself some flowers, do some spring cleaning, both inner and outer spring cleaning, and, take a look at some of those areas of your life that perhaps you've been ignoring that are in need of a little tidying up. All that said, the overall theme in the chart, and you probably don't need me to share this with you to find resonance in it, is, take a deep breath, chaos and disruption. We have the gate of crisis still very active in the transits that's showing up in 4 different places in the chart. 2 of the gates are in retrograde, Mercury and Venus. Retrograde energy always kind of gives us an invitation to kind of take a retrospective look at things. It may feel like the past is kind of coming back, but also to really reflect on the past from a new vantage point. So good to remember that when it feels like the past is coming back, it's really because we're in a new place that we can actually look at something from a fresh perspective. Now, these energies do go direct in a few weeks, and we've been in a sort of series of retrogrades, eclipses, and so on since about November. So, if you've been feeling kind of an underlying sense of stuckness, where like it's not really time to move forward, but there's just been a lot of personal, internal shifting and changing and navigating, you're not alone in that. And my sense is that within a few weeks' time, if not sooner, you might start to feel like the energy of forward movement thrusting you in a new direction. So a note about chaos and about disruption. I mentioned this in the previous videos. Disruption can often feel like a setback. It can feel like a loss. It can feel like something being taken away. It can be, as simple as, or, not to say it's simple, but it can be, it can look like receiving some unexpected news that causes you to reevaluate a relationship. It can look like just people in the world and in your environment feeling a little more chaotic and disruptive. Or it can look like, things that you've kind of relied upon foundationally being stripped away, which can feel very destabilizing and disruptive. The mantra that I want to offer you is that chaos is not, or rather disruption is not meant to be a setback, but it's an invitation into something new. We have so much new energy showing up in the transits, new beginnings, new possibilities, and the invitation to really prepare for those new beginnings by doing what we can do. But along with that, we also see the stripping away of a lot of things that we found or relied upon as foundational to our existence, which can feel very scary. Even the gate of control today in the 6th line is keynoted as chaos. I'm not going to get too political, but I'll share that Donald Trump has this channel, the channel of money, and today the keynote is chaos around kind of control of money and the desire to be in control of money. And we've had a lot of pretty chaotic and disruptive and intense tariff policies just enacted, which is bringing a lot of chaos to the collective. So I don't really have a hopeful word about that in terms of what will happen, because I don't know. Expect the unexpected still continues to be the overarching theme. But it really feels like we're being asked to find a new way of operating, both individually, tribally, and ultimately collectively. And so, when things get taken away, when things are shifted or changed, when there's chaos in the air, this is emotional energy that can find us wanting to take impulsive action. I want to remind you that emotional energy is always something that needs time to process, right? So slow down, take a deep breath, let yourself feel the highs and lows of this energy that may be both kind of disrupting and agitating your sense of security, but also kind of giving you that nudge, that restlessness to move in a new direction or to create change in your life in some way. And it can be challenging because mentally we're so conditioned to want to know what that change is, to formulate a plan and to enact that plan. But emotional energy is never mental energy. It's always feeling-based energy. And feeling energy, when we try to avoid, resist, fix, solve, explain, rationalize, can often get distorted. So to the extent that you're feeling the highs and lows of that disruption and the mind is in a place of agitation, slow down, do your best to regulate yourself, and give yourself time to feel into what the next correct step is for you. I want to also share that we had a lot of powerful activity over the weekend. We had a solar eclipse and a pretty significant shift of the planet Neptune moving into Aries, specifically along the gate of spirit. So Neptune is a planet that often brings with it a sort of mysterious quality. Sometimes it's connected in our own chart to our spiritual purpose. But it said that Neptune kind of represents the veil, the illusion, the mystery of life that we're meant to kind of surrender into. It doesn't often give us clear answers, and it can kind of be a relentless underlying presence in our life if we don't just surrender into its lessons. And so Neptune moving from Pisces into Aries is, in a sense, kind of drying us out, right? Pisces is a very watery, murky, fluid energy, feeling-based energy, a lot of emotional energy in Pisces, whereas Aries is more fire. It's fast movement. It's air-based, right? It's more connected to our spirit, less so to the depths of our emotional energy. So you might find, as I do, that even just looking on social media, I see a lot of creators sharing videos, kind of contemplating about their higher purpose. How is it that I can step more into a role of service for humanity, for my community, for others, and out of this mode of kind of personal enrichment. And so these energies can feel like they're in contrast to each other, all this chaos, all this disruption, all this restlessness to feel, to move into a new experience, but also this kind of deep invitation to really reconnect with source, to reconnect with our spirit, to revitalize those places in ourselves that love each other and love life. The gate of spirit is also the gate of service and the gate of unconditional love. And so how it's keynoted right now in the chart. Again, we have 4 gates in the gate of crisis. We have the sun keynoted as chaos around money and resources. And then we have Neptune really giving us this assignment to connect to our higher purpose. What is our higher purpose? Is it to hoard? Is it to hold on to what we need in order to survive? Or is it to be generous with our spirit? Is it to revitalize our love of life? Is it to find perhaps a higher calling that's not so much about us and our ego, really about that transcendent identity that we have, the part of ourselves that is connected to source and that is connected to the unconditional love of life? So, things to reflect this week. Do you have a practice that connects you with source? That can look like any number of things: yoga, meditation, journaling, any kind of ritualistic practices you have. And, what is the purpose of your life? And that doesn't necessarily need to be a vocation. That doesn't need to be a role that you play. But, you might be finding a call from within to really help one another and to share your gifts in a new way. I really believe that with all the chaos and disruption unfolding on the world stage, and even in our communities and in our personal lives, it's time for something new. And disruption really shows up to shake up the old patterns that we've perhaps become reliant upon that are asking us to find a new way. Pluto moving into Aquarius through the gate 41, the gate of imagination, also called the gate of decrease, really is highlighting this theme of things being taken away. A lot of stuff is being rolled back, taken away. And as scary as that can be, what's born of that is the drive to imagine a new way of operating as a collective. And I want to remind you as well, this is not necessarily a time to figure out what that is. It's not mental energy, it's feeling-based energy, and it's energy that comes from the heart. So tune into your heart. The heart is a brain. It emits more electromagnetic frequencies than our actual brain. They say our heart is more powerful than our mind. And the heart does communicate to us. So, you can take a hand to the heart. You can close your eyes. You can take some breaths into and out from your heart and really ask your heart, how can I serve? What is my higher purpose? What needs to be healed, released, realigned within me so I can step into my most authentic contribution? And keep in mind that the heart doesn't communicate with sentences and words much like the mind does. It usually communicates through 1 or 2 words. It could be as simple as let go, love, trust, you got this. Heal your self-worth, know that you're valuable, reconnect with nature, make art. Whatever you hear when you tune into that heart is something that you can trust and something you can follow. So, I'll remind you that human design was revealed wisdom that showed up about 40 years ago. And the purpose, the timing of human design was really to prepare us for this moment. We're going through a massive global shift from the cross of planning into the cross of the sleeping phoenix. That shift occurs in 2027, but we're in the final stages of this long cycle, the cross of planning, which was all about tribal agreements, exchange of value, bargains, globalization, building of community, family, tribe. And as that channel is sort of disintegrating within the collective or within the global transits, what's emerging is this invitation to really tune into our own authority, to tune into our individual sovereignty over our energy, over our gifts, over our unique life path, and to really tune into it and listen to that over all else. So if you don't know your human design type, your human design strategy and authority, and even some more of the details of your design, and you'd like to learn more, I'm available. This is how I can be of service, is to help empower you to understand how to make correct decisions as yourself, so that you can navigate this time and really step into the flow of what life is calling from you and out of you as we move into this new world. The new world is here. We're out of kind of the old. There's sort of the remains of the old being torn away. And, when the old dies, it usually dies with a big bang and goes out with a lot of, hubbub, to put it lightly. And so as we're watching things being stripped away, as we're watching the world change, as we're watching what looks like authoritarian step into power, know that that is the effect of that energy going away in the world. And this is really the last ditch effort for those powers to try to hold on to power and hold on to control. But the background energies are not going to support it for very much longer. So scary as it may be, disruptive as it may be, trust yourself and connect with what you can connect to that will revitalize your own spirit. Neptune in, Neptune in Aries in the gate of spirit right now is in the third line, experimental line. And it's really talking all about the ability to withstand crisis, the ability to withstand disruption, and stay connected to our spirit, stay connected to our higher purpose. And so as we watch the world shift, as we watch as we watch crisis unfold, how can we serve? How can we help? How can we be there for one another? And how can we empower one another to find new ways of not just stabilizing ourselves, but also, thriving within community? Again, these are not questions that you need mental answers to, just things to reflect and things to feel. Tomorrow, can we have more disruption? The sun is going to be moving into the gate of shock, sometimes called the gate of initiation and awakening. This will form the whole channel, which actually connects to the gate of spirit. And it's really a channel that's about the surrender of the ego. We have been conditioned, so many of us, to connect our identity and our self-concept around, superficial things, how much money we have in the bank, how many followers we have, our standing within society, our role within our careers and within our communities. And when those things get stripped away or when those things change, it can really feel like a shocking loss. And good to remember that the gate of shock is not here to punish us. It's not here to harm us. It's here to say, hey, you've actually kind of veered a little bit away from your life purpose. And so we're going to kind of like those grids on the side of the road. If you kind of are driving on the highway and you start to kind of fall asleep and you kind of veer off to the side of the road, there's a little shock where it's saying, oh, get back on track. And so as we move into the gate of shock over the next 6 days, again, not trying to scare you, but, anticipate or prepare for anything that's in your life that's out of alignment, that's keeping you away from your higher purpose, that may be kind of distracting you from what you really came here to do and to be, may be disrupted a little bit. And I say that, not knowing what's coming for me. We can talk about it in about a week's time. But I just want to offer you all a lot of love and a lot of grace and a lot of compassion as we navigate this time. Chaos, crisis, disruption, and shock are in order. And what we can do throughout all of that is stay self-regulated, stay connected to our authority, whatever that is for you, and trust yourself. We're moving out of a time of strategy, out of mental conditioning. The whole world that we know has been conditioned by the not self mind. And as that gets dismantled, we need to tune into something else. And that really is what human design is here to offer us. It's a surrender experiment where we might not know where we're going, but if we can stay connected to our authority and we can stay in a place of faith, that evolution sometimes is messy. Change and disruption can look like chaos and disorder, but we are the ones to birth the new world through us. And we don't have to know what that looks like necessarily, but if we can trust in ourselves, if we can surrender into our personal power, and we can stay connected to the value of who we are, right? Our value is not what we do. It's not our work. It's not our degrees. It's not our training. It's not our followers. You are valuable. Your aura is valuable. So tend to your aura. That is your responsibility. Keep your aura clean. Clean your vessel. Clean your body. Look at the things in your life, the poisons, the toxins that keep you kind of distracted from your ability to respond, to guide, to initiate, based on your type. And now's a really great time to get sober, to get clear-minded, and to get back on track with what it is you came here to do. You were born at this time for a reason. I don't know what that reason is, but it's not a mistake. And so I'm wishing you as peaceful as possible transition through what's going on right now in the celestial weather. And I'll be back next time with something completely different. And And hopefully, we'll have some stories to share in terms of how our lives are shifting, changing, and evolving for the better, right? Life is happening for you and not to you. And all these invitations are asking us to step into something new. So, sending you all lots of love, and any questions, comments, feedback, or if you'd like to book a reading, you can leave comments below this or reach out to me personally. All right, everyone, take care. Peace.